Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Obviously, beautiful day outside here in East Lansing and beautiful day for practice. Not sure how much you guys saw practice or not, but a beautiful day. Things are moving. Things are clicking. It's training camp time, right? So there's a lot of stuff building a culture, not only for this team, but in regards to special teams, just trying to really build that and championship level culture. Guys have responded. Guys have been working their butt off. They're coming together as a team, coming together as each individual units. We're piecing those together right now. It's been fun to work with, and personally, I'm moving my family here to East Lansing, and the community's been unbelievable. It's been awesome, and the people have been great. The fans have been great, and so just really excited to get going and get going not only with the season, training camp now, the season coming up, and then the transition here to East Lansing. So, with that, any questions you guys may have, be happy to answer them.
How would you, in the easiest way to relate to fans, describe the changes in the punt rules that obviously you were not
right off the bat? You're going. You are touching a nerve right now, man. So it's very interesting, right? So first and foremost, still very unclear of how this whole thing came about. Very unhappy with how it came about, the rule change, who was consulted, who wasn't consulted. I don't want to speak for Fitz, but I know he is upset. Coaches weren't consulted, and they tried to ramrod this thing through in the cloak of darkness in the middle of, like late February, early March. People were on spring break. People were getting going their spring practice. A lot of guys, a lot of coaches, head coaches and coordinators had no idea. And I go back to the spring, right? We have spring practice all through April, and every day we'd come off the field. We're fielding calls from different people, different coaches, coordinators, and head coaches around the country. Hey, can you explain this rule? Because we kind of found it and heard about it, and we were curious about it. The staff here, myself, Josh Robinson, was Mason Ruddy at the time, and then Coach Fitz. And so we were constantly just trying to understand it and find out who knows what. Most guys, coordinators around the Power Four, had no idea. And then also kind of the rules kept like as a moving target, right? One day it's this, the next day it's that. Hey, call this person if you want it changed. If you want to revert back to the old rule, never got any clarity on it. So obviously they wanted to make that change. But the way the rule is written, they would like to have you in a 2-by-2 formation, even though it's not what the rule says, okay? But someone will interpret the rule as saying, call it a guard tackle on either side of the center. And those numbers have to be ineligible numbers, okay? Or let me back up. If you're not in that formation, you have to have 5 ineligible numbers on your punt unit. Okay, so what a lot of coaches are doing around the country that I've spoken to, they would like to keep the multitude of formations, the ability to change formations, and not be locked into a 2-by-2 formation. So what most people I know, they're going with a jersey change. So good luck to you guys trying to figure out who's who and what's what, because there's going to be like hockey line changes with change in jerseys. Jordan Hall wears number 5. Nakai Martinez wears number 21. And for a play, they're going to be wearing number 77 or 67 or whatever ineligible number they have, and try to go protect a punt, cover a punt, and go down. Those are just 2 guys on this team. Now multiply that by 130. Okay, so here's the impact that nobody thought of, I promise you. The NIL impact, right? So all those rules that were up there was targeting, it was punt rules, it was pants too short, right? I talked to people on the oversight committee. Hey, how come all these things went through except for the pants? Why do you think they said the pants rule didn't go through? Take a guess.
Uniform contract.
Money.
Uniform contracts, money, and they said the players would revolt. So now what do you think if a player is making money off his name, image, and likeness as the rule is supposed to be stated? I'll use Jordan Hall. I've spoken to him about this. Number 5, he has a deal with somebody in town wearing number 5. Well, sometimes he's 75, sometimes he's 77, sometimes he's 70. Who knows what that's going to be like, right? So now, who's the play-by-play announcer? Mr. Clay? Okay, I've not met Mr. Clay, the PA announcer in the stadium. Now he's got to figure out who made that tackle. So Luka Vincic wears number 70 for us on offense. Well, guess what? Now Nakai Martinez is wearing number 70. Maybe it's Nakai, maybe it's someone else. Who gets credit for the tackle? Okay, so they didn't think about the NIL impact. The other thing they didn't think about is NFL scouting, right? So all these coaches, these scouts come here, they're here all day, right? Watching guys, watching the tape, cutting it up, looking at it. So Trey Bell wears number 3. Well, next play he's going to be wearing number 67, and number 73, and number 78, whatever ineligible number you can think of, but they're not thinking about that. And I promise you, the players don't know that. Our players here, I've spoken to them about it, and because to me, once those things happen, you start messing with the players. You start messing with, now players are getting paid, right? You start messing with a name, image, and likeness that's tied to that uniform, and away you go. So a lot of unintended consequences with it, a lot of craziness, to be honest with you, a lot of upset people. Meaning, I'm talking about special teams coaches, because it was nearly unanimous that, I shouldn't say unanimous, but very, very overwhelming majority did not want the rule. A lot of them did not know about the rule. We're going all the way into practice 13, 14, 15 of spring football, and coaches had no clue. I'm talking about Power 4 coaches. FCS coaches, I mean, God bless them, man. They had still, some of them probably don't know. I mean, I'm not even joking. It's that serious from our world, right? So, I talked to the coordinator from Army. He's getting ready to go on spring break. They're in practice 10, I believe, of 12 of their session, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" So the point I'm trying to get across is this is really just ramrodded through. I still think there's time to reverse this and time to like really think about it and get it right and like put a committee together. Let's get the rule right the way we want it, rather than the craziness you're about to see on Saturdays in college football.
So when did you start hearing about the rule change?
So late February, early May.
So what was the motivation for these changes? Why fix what isn't broken?
It's a great question. Okay, it's a great question. Depends who you ask, because at one point the head of officials told us that it was to make it easier on coaches, and that was how he started off. And the coaches were like, "Well, who's complaining about it being too hard to coach?" All of us were like, "No." We did a Zoom, right? So we called a bunch of people. Hey, jump on the Zoom. We got the head of officials, Steve Shaw, on there. We've got Bill Carrillo, head of officials for the Big Ten, and then AJ Eads, who's the administrator for the Big Ten football. And obviously some head coaches and majority coordinators, and no one's like, it's not hard to defend these plays. It's not hard to, what are we talking about? So then it transitioned, well, it'd be easier for the officials to officiate. Well, I can tell you now, the jersey stuff, the formation stuff, all these things they're getting ready to see, it's not, you ask any official, it is not easier to officiate. You have to have 2 sets of rules, 3 sets of rules for different situations. So you tell me, because I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, and we're in practice 4 of training camp.
Could it revert back before?
I think it could be really easy to revert back.
But
Really easy.
But it wouldn't be something that would change during the season. Like once you start, there's no preseason for you guys.
You've been around. You've watched college football, right? They change rules all the time. They change rules. Hey, we're not going to enforce this. At one point, the Big Ten was unanimous opposing this rule. A couple of our Power 4s were overwhelmingly opposing the rule. Okay, one conference split, really mainly because I don't think the coaches really understood it. But to me, it's time to go back. But we're going forward. Everyone's going forward. Everyone's practicing with these new rules. So we'll see how it goes.
As a former linebacker and also linebackers coach, what do you find appealing about Joe's defense?
That's a great question too. Joe's defense is really, really black and white to me. I think that speaks to how he coaches and how sharp and detailed he is. Allows players to see it black and white and go fast. And that to me is the mark of a good defense. And we're watching out here in practice. I mean, there's some really good players out there. Really good players, guys, good teammates, working hard. Feel like the personnel within the defense certainly helps us on special teams. And there's a lot of good players out there.
Does it feel like the players, from what you've seen, like the holdovers, like they feel like they're growing within the system, I guess?
I wasn't here last year, so I really can't speak to that. When I talk to the kids, what's it like? What's different? I feel like when I talk to them, they seem very upbeat and very excited and positive about the future and kind of where things are going and sort of the culture here. Now, again, I wasn't here, so I can't really speak to that. I do know that in Game 11, the school I was at before, we played against Michigan State and played against Joe's defense, and it came down to the wire, the game-winning field goal that decided the game. So that tells you kind of what kind of coach he is, what the mentality of that team was like. They weren't out of it. They were still trying to play.
It seemed like in the spring players are impressed by just how detailed your install was for punt coverage, like the whole 9. I wonder how far along everything is with players sort of understanding what it takes to play special teams in your system, and what are sort of the goals in spring ball to.
Yeah, I think we're all still learning, right? We're all still learning, and I've seen marked improvement from spring till now. Like I was floored the first couple of days. We go back, do the same drills over, and realize like, man, these guys are flying right now. Like maybe we probably, maybe we could move a little bit quicker than I anticipated, which is good. I think guys are eager. Guys are hungry. They want to win, and they want to win. You can tell it, and you can feel it when you see Fitz and he's around, and you talk to any of the players. They want to win. Now we got to guide them as coaches, and we have to put them in the right positions and and keep continuing to teach and continue to help them grow. But I feel very confident where the guys are at right now. It's just continue to work and continue to build in that championship culture we're talking about.
Where do you
LeVar,
think
what
the
falls on, what
Yeah.
type of things fall on your plate with the, either assistant or associate head coach title?
Yeah,
I don't wanna make,
whatever Fitz tells me.
what kind of goes into that, I guess? And I mean, has that been helpful, I guess, to you in any kind of way, just expanding some, roles or?
Yeah,
whatever?
for sure. I'm very grateful for the opportunity with Coach Fitz. I think it's no different than a player, right? A player, and you're coaching a player needs someone that believes in them, believes that they can take that they have someone that'll try to take them where they want to go. And I feel that same way with Fitz. I think Fitz sees something in me as a potential head coach one day, and he's trying to help me get there. I mean, that's what the definition of a coach is, right? From point A to point B, and I feel good about what he's doing with that. It's been fun seeing it from a different way, a different energy, right? A different energy from where I've came. I've only been around, and this is probably, I've only ever been around like Hall of Fame championship level coaches, starting in high school and college. My assistant coach Norm Parker was the coordinator here, and then Hayden Fry, and then Kirk Ferentz, and going the National Football League, right? Whether you're talking about assistants or head coaches, that's what I've been around, so that's what I'm used to, and I get that with Fitz. The guy knows how to win. The guy knows how to coach. He's got great energy, completely different energy than what I've been around before, and a different way to skin a cat, if you will. So I'm learning from him every day, and just trying to continue to learn and continue to try to keep up. It's the first day for everyone, almost every day.
Any new duties, I guess, or tasks that come with that are kind of interesting to you, or that are just different from what?
Yeah, I would say just different consultation on how we run practice, where we put periods, where we, where we're organizing those kind of things, and the rest of it I think will play itself out in recruiting and how we do things operationally here.
I wonder for both you and Fitz, I mean, you've both spent most of your careers, almost all of it, at one school. How has the transition been? Have you kind of leaned on each other to kind of, I guess, do something new when you've got such an established background at two different places there?
Yes, it's definitely unique, right? Those two, the longevity of both our careers, and I would say that I think we both have long-term things in mind, right? Like we are trying to build and sustain, if you will, and that's what we're used to. That's what we're accustomed to. It's not, hey, I'm here for a year, here for two, and take off, which that's some of pro and college coaching. Me personally, like I'm trying to build, and I'm trying to see what can we do here, how fast can we get there, what's it going to look like. But I feel like that kind of mentality with the thought of, hey, this is new, this is different. I'm being challenged every day by my assistant Josh Robinson, because he's been some places, and like, let's do this different. Can we look at it different? So that part is definitely helpful. For both myself and I think for Fitz. I mean, we push on each other a little bit on some things, but ultimately it's his show and he runs it the way he wants to run it. This staff is incredibly talented, and I'm talking not just coaching staff, I'm talking about analysts, I'm talking about recruiting, personnel. It's unbelievable, and there's a lot of us. So, but feel good about that, and then coming to work every day, which makes it fun. It's
How
different.
invigorating is that? You have a change, right? And
Sure.
You've been in one system,
Sure.
under one coach for so long. Like, I'm wondering, just from a personal standpoint, just do you come to work just invigorated to kind of learn?
Yeah, I think every day is different, right? So you grow when you're uncomfortable, and let me tell you, I'm not very comfortable, right? Because I'm used to doing it this way for this long and so like when you adjust that, that's where I think growth comes, and that's what at the end of all this thing for me. Hopefully, at the end of the year, that's what we notice, that's what we feel. And I challenge the players the same way. If we keep doing the same stuff and you expect something different, I mean, you're crazy.
How do you think the kicking? I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
Oh, good.
Oh, I'm sorry. How do you feel like you guys are at kicker and punter? Because obviously it's going to be new guys from who Michigan State have last season.
Yeah, so I would say start off the room. We're talking about kicker, punter, snapper, incredibly talented and young. So there's a lot of competition. The room is sort of built. There's a couple older guys that each have a year or two left, and then the younger guys behind them that are freshmen that have 4 years of eligibility, 4 to 5 years now, I guess, the new rule. So kind of built the room that way. All of them are talented. All of them could be playing somewhere in college football right now. So the trick is, to me, is trying to develop those guys and figure out who's the starter to come out. Can one guy do one thing, another guy do something else? We got to figure that out. But I feel good about where we're at with punter. I know Dakin the best because I coached him at Iowa, but I think he's at a really, really good camp. He's matured immensely. Then again, talking about change, right? He came here. It wasn't easy for him to make a decision to come here. but he did. And he did that because he trusts me, I trust him, and he's looking for a new opportunity. And I think he's getting that right now in a different team. He's in a leadership role. Then you have a guy like Liam Boyd, who's a more veteran guy. This is his third school. He was a starter last year at Charlotte, but he's in a position right now to really, I think, take a step forward within his career. And then you have Nick Dzansky, who was at Oregon and transferred here, but he really hasn't started yet. So those are probably the more veteran guys, and the guys behind him with Alex Weeks, who I think this kid's going to be really good one day. He's got all the tools. He's young, and sometimes when you're young, you see yourself differently than the rest of the world sees you. And so we've got to continue to build confidence in him. Same thing with Steven Gonzalez, again, a really talented kid I was recruiting the place I was at before, and he chose to come here, turned down scholarships to come here. Same thing with Trey Saraskis, who's the snapper, and turned down scholarships to walk on here. So again, feel really good about that room, and it's really talented. We just got to keep pushing them and see what can we do. The room's tight, and they get along well, which I think is a first step in a specialist.
And Iowa, obviously, like the special teams have sort of become part of the identity, and just years upon years have built, into
Sure.
something. How quickly do you feel like, again, that stuff sort of takes years, but how quickly do you feel like there can be an impact made in that third phase here, or are you hoping to? Not asking you to guarantee like immediate success, but like how quickly do you feel like you can get things in a direction that you'd be happy with? I guess.
Honestly, I think it's all about how fast the players change mindsets, right? And like how they see it. I think Fitz is doing a great job setting the tone every day. And I think players are answering the bell and showing up and putting in the effort. And then it's just going to come down to us playing and like continue to learn each and every week, like how important each play is on special teams. There's typically an average about 30 plays a game. So on offense, there's 70, 80, 90, depends on the game and the style of play, and same thing defensively. So you don't get as many opportunities on special teams. So you got to be good with the ones you get.
Would you say, in your experience, mindset is, or mentality, effort stuff is above scheme in that phase, or?
Yeah, I think so,
hand-in-hand,
and I think part of what makes special teams units good, and the previous experience I've had, is building on the fundamentals, right? You give them a fundamental base, you teach them the techniques, you teach them a recovery technique if they get beat, and you just keep pounding it over and over and over, and then it comes down to how bad do you want this? How much do you want to do this for your team? And some players, that's more so like a older guy or a senior, like how bad do you want to do this for your team? Some guys, young guys, that's their way on the field, that's their way on the bus. So again, I think the roster is a little bit different, older, younger. Some guys, they may never play offense or defense. I've coached a couple of guys that were hellacious special teams players that nobody on offense or defense would want them to play, but they were phenomenal, right, on special teams.
Who are some of the return men you have your eye on? I imagine Kenneth Williams is one, but who are some
It's a
of the
good
others?
start. Yeah, so Kenneth, you mentioned him right away. McCray, I think, is another guy that has ability. I think Collier the same way. Those are probably the three that I know the best right now. Again, as we're in practice 4 right now, we haven't starting to piece together punt return today. Actually, a kick return we haven't put the scheme in yet, so that'll be next week. But I feel good about those three right now and kind of where they're trending. There's some other guys out there as well that we just got to continue to go with. I asked in the first punt return meeting, I asked who's the starting punt returner. And about 6 hands went up, and one of them was Jordan Hall, one of them was Nakai Martinez, and one of them was Nelu. So I was like, all right, we don't have one, right? So, but
And you coached against Kenneth Williams, so
Yeah.
probably caught your eye.
Yeah, for sure.
Against him back then.
for sure, first and foremost, he's an unbelievable kid. Great. I challenge you guys to get to know this kid. He's awesome, great kid, local kid from Detroit, very hungry kid. I keep calling him a kid. He's a grown man, but I think the world of this guy, and he's going to be really good, not just as a returner. I could see him in coverage as well. He's got the right mindset across the board.
LeVar, can you develop a DeJean or a Weegan, or do you have to go and find a guy like that?
Yeah, I think Cooper DeJean didn't come to Iowa to be a returner. Same like Weegan did. That's recruited him to do that. But I feel like you can develop if a guy has the grit, the toughness, the ability to make a play, and the want to make a play. I think you can develop that. All right, now, it's been my history. I don't know how it's like really anywhere else. Now I think you start to pair up with some guys that maybe have unique athletic ability with the right mindset. I think you've got something special. So again, we just got to continue to work on it, continue to develop it. But I feel really good about the guys in this room and on this team. I can't wait for the rest of the world to see them. At some point, And again, it's not going to happen right away, week one, day one. But I feel really good about this group. And I think their heads are on straight, their minds are in the right place, and they're all looking to develop and move forward.
When we talk about special teams players, like the guys who touch the ball, whether it's kicking, snapping, returning, we tend to talk about. But as far as building like the coverage units and the jammers and that sort of depth, like is that something you intentionally recruit, or is that the same thing as internal development, other guys?
Yeah, I think it's more
something
internal
else?
development. I don't think very rarely you're going to recruit a guy specifically for special teams because the rosters are so limited, right? But I think you can train guys, and you got to switch mindsets. And I tell the kids nearly daily that the ultimate title someone can give you is not I'm a receiver, I'm a running back, or I'm a quarterback. Is that you're a football player, and where do you want me to play, coach? I'm going to go play. Right, offense, defense, special teams. So to me, we're trying to find football players and build football players, and we did some drills today for that, and just trying to continue to build and develop this team.
Coach, we have one more right here.
Yes, sir.
One thing for rule changes is just that you have the 5-for-5. How did that change the evaluation process for special teams when you have that ability to play the guys more and not burn a red shirt?
Yeah, I think it shifts your mind a little bit because you're always trying to, at least the way I've always coached, I've always trying to be conscious of the player and his eligibility. Hey, I don't want to play a guy 5 games and all of a sudden he loses a year when he could have, redshirted and been better. You're always better at 22 than you are at 18. But right now, if a kid can play and he can help us, man, let's go. Let's go. If he wants to. Sometimes we're playing the Big Ten. The conferences the last 2 years I feel like has just gotten really, really competitive, and special teams in particular. So I don't want to play anybody that's not ready physically, right? But if a guy is physically ready and he can help us, then let's go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.